Audio is one of those things that maybe isn't as exciting as, let's say, a new lens or a camera body or something like that, but it is really, really important when you're making a video. You know, it makes up, in many ways, half of the video. The visuals making up one half and then the audio the other half. And bad audio really sticks out like a sore thumb. It's a really noticeable and really bad thing. You know, you can tolerate a bit of out of focus, a bit of soft looking footage. You know, if I go out of focus in this video, you're probably not going to mind that much. You'll probably just carry on. Whereas if the audio is bad, if it's crackly, if it's incredibly echoey, there's lots and lots of things you can do to create better audio for your video. Obviously, it starts with what kind of audio you need to actually record, whether it's vocal, someone talking like in this situation right now, or whether it's some kind of extra sound for some kind of B-roll. That's where something like this comes in extremely useful. This is the Zoom H4n Pro, and it's a really, really handy field recorder. Now you can use this in multiple kinds of ways. You can use this actually as the recorder itself. It has stereo microphones on the top, which makes it very useful to use as either a handheld microphone to speak into. So for example, if you're interviewing someone, I've done this a number of times to actually interview all kinds of different people because it's the easiest way of doing it, or to actually just record different sounds. So for example, down by the ocean, you might want to record the sounds of waves. You might want to go stand in a forest for 5 minutes and capture the general audio. You can get a lot of ambient sounds that way. And then of course, you can also actually plug in a microphone to the audio recorder as well. You've got 2 XLR inputs on the bottom there. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm using a Rode NTG4 Plus microphone, which is super, super good, as a boom mic plugged into one of these. So I'm just got a microphone stand with my microphone right here, and that's how I'm actually recording this audio of me speaking, which means I can get a microphone nice and close and I can get good, solid audio. So what are some good ways of actually capturing the audio? Well, first of all, you want to get the microphone as close as you can to the source of the sound. So in this case, I've got my boom mic just above the framing of the camera. That means that it's as close as it can get to my mouth without being in shot. Now, it could be in shot, there's not a problem with that, but generally speaking, with a boom mic, you want to keep it out of shot. I could also have a lapel mic, so that's one that I would have clipped onto my hoodie here. That would be nice and close to my mouth as well. But this NTG4 microphone that I've got actually just here is a very, very good quality one. Now, that can then run with a wire, an XLR wire that goes all the way back to my audio recorder. Of course, I could also hold an audio recorder and actually speak into it like this. That would be perfectly good. Let me show you what it'd be like if I use the on-camera microphone. This is what that sounds like. It's a bad, bad time, and I think we all can agree. I'll switch back to this one now because it's a much, much better experience. But that's how much difference it makes having a microphone much closer. It's also a very directional microphone, so it's pointed right at me. That would also be the same with this. Now, the other way you could do this is actually mount something like this to the top of your camera. You can see it has a little mount here, so you can put a cold shoe mount in there, pop it on the top of the camera. I've done that many times. Use it like a shotgun mic. This is very directional as well, so it's going to capture the sound directly forward facing from the camera, and you could do it exactly like that. That's a super useful way of doing that. Now, this takes an SD card as well, so you can capture the audio separately. So normally when I start these videos, I just do a little sync like that, so that I can get the sound from the camera, sound from the microphone, sync it up in editing, and we're done. Now, ambient sounds are really interesting because you can download them online, absolutely, but they have different licenses and you need to be a little bit careful about where you're using them and how you're using them. Whereas with something like this, you can go out and start to build up your own library of ambient sounds. So let's, for example, take someone typing on a keyboard. You could just have someone typing on a keyboard in a video and not worry too much about it. Or you could have someone typing on a keyboard with the sound of someone typing on a keyboard. And you can add that sound in after you filmed it. You don't have to capture the sound at the same time. Using something like this, you can just hold that or place it or pop it on a little mini tripod or anything you like near to a keyboard and just type away. Get that sound recorded, pop it in some kind of library in your computer, and you've got that now. Same with going down to the ocean. You can go down, you can record the sound of waves. It's going to really, really increase the kind of quality of your B-roll video. If you've got someone driving a car, you're going to want to have the sound of car driving. If you have someone walking through a meadow, you're going to want to have the sound of crickets or birds or wind or whatever it might be. If you've got someone in a forest, you're going to want to have not only the sound of the forest, but also the sound of maybe leaves crunching underfoot, All these kinds of things are really easy to get with something like this, and it adds a huge amount to your end product, to your video. It utilizes another sense. So of course, you probably have music going, but it utilizes the hearing sense as well to reinforce what you're seeing, and filling those senses can really go a long way to improving the quality and then ultimately how much someone enjoys your video. This little video clip is from my A7S III review, and you can hear lots of sounds in the background. Without those added little bits, it would just be music and visuals. And while that can be fine, it doesn't take it beyond to kind of great and really push things across. So especially if you're doing things for clients or you're thinking about making B-roll-y kind of videos, adding an extra layer of audio that you've captured yourself can be a huge plus to the end result. And this is the easiest way, I think, of doing this. And it might feel like at first, oh, I've got to go and capture loads of different stuff. But once you start doing it for a little while, you'll find there's lots of little sounds that you pick up on, and you'll suddenly want to record all kinds of different things. A really creaky door, for example, or a particular door slamming. Loads of different sounds that can then be used for all kinds of different things. Now, when it comes to recording vocals, like in this situation, something that's really important to think about is the echo, the reverb within the room. How much is the sound going to be bouncing off different surfaces? Because, for example, the microphone right here is picking up my voice, and it's very directional, so it's just picking up this kind of angle. So it should just be picking up my voice, but my voice will be bouncing off the wall behind the camera, the walls over here, the ceiling behind me, it'll bounce everywhere. And if I'm not careful, the microphone will pick all of that up and it sounds quite sort of echoey and quite reverby. This is not something that is exclusive to big rooms, big halls. This is something that can happen in a really small room like this one. This is not a big room, but it's something I have to be really aware of. So something that I do, and something that I'd absolutely recommend if you're recording vocals, this will take it from kind of a 6 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10, is to add any kind of dampening that you can. Now, of course, you could actually acoustically treat your area, so your room. So I could put loads of stuff on the walls to acoustically treat it, but I don't really want to in here. And you don't have to do that. If filming doesn't take up a huge part of your kind of life in this room, if you want to use it for other stuff, you might want to go down a different room. So for me, for example, I've got 2 cushions right here, which I use to dampen the sound. They're soft, they're not kind of smooth or hard, so they should absorb the sound as I'm speaking. One's here, and it means that that voice coming out, captured by the microphone, but it shouldn't be bouncing back too much. You know, if I had flat, hard surfaces, the voice would just bounce straight back, and that would not be ideal, whereas these dampen it back and I reduce the amount of echo or reverb. Now, I've also used things like a big rug or just a big hoodie or something like that, hanging it on my microphone stand or hanging it nearby to kind of reduce the amount of wall space that my voice can echo back from. And it really, really makes a massive, massive difference. So alongside getting the microphone as close to the source as possible, the room acoustics are going to make a huge difference to the end result of the audio that you have. Now, if you have any tips of your own, I'd love to hear them down in the comments. Of course, anything else you'd like to see during this content advent period, let me know down in the comments. There's been some great suggestions so far, and I'm absolutely going to get to a bunch of them. So let me know anything else you'd like to see. Of course, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. That helps me out a huge amount. I'll see you tomorrow for the next video. But until then, as always, thanks for watching.